Welcome to the writings of Patrick S. Smith.
Hello, all. I got a big announcement for this week, so hold your horses. Semi-big announcement. It's a personal big one. Is that I am quitting smoking. I'm actually a week into it, so thank you for everybody who's wishing me the best on that. It's not the first time I've tried to quit. I've actually took a 2-year hiatus at one point, so the goal now is at least 3 years, if not longer. Hopefully, actually, I have touched my last cigarette. So, moving on, I had wanted to do some audio recordings, but weather and just not feeling voice-wise 100%, I did not get any done since the last video. Another opportunity for me to do that's been wasted, unfortunately, for various reasons. But I'm going to keep trying to get it done at some point. It may just be I sneak in a 15, 30-minute session here and there and piecemeal everything together at one point. Hopefully that will work out for me. Moving on into the actual writing and creative front. 3 of my short stories that I have been revising yet again. Stains from a Chicken Salad Sandwich, After a Ghostly Millennium, I Am Heard, and Returning Home. I've got a set of revisions done where I've gone back and listened to a reading of them that I did, and it ranged from, oh yeah, not too bad on the cleanup, to what the heck was I writing? Yeah, so definitely, at least one more round on all of them, if not multiple. And hopefully the stars will align and the planets will get their act together, and I can possibly make a short or a small short story anthology and possibly talk about publishing that around end of the year. Right now, that looks like if that does come to fruition, it will be ebook only. Also, but since now I have gotten my plate cleared of a lot of things, I started the 4th For the Love of Death story. It is entitled Death and a Dog. And this one it is inspired to a certain degree from a real life event earlier this year. Because around first of the year, our oldest dog, Maya, we unfortunately had to put her down because she was just constant pain and having a hard time getting around, and just did not want to see her suffer. So, but it hits hard because she was part of the family, and wanted to use that, and I thought, Sertic and Bertha would be a good pair to, talk about that to a degree. So, yes, there is mention of a lost dog in that story, and that's actually one of the central points to it. So you get to see, for those who have read any of that series, Sertic being death, you'll get to see a new side of him, away from his normal cold business side that, okay, you're dead, get out. And Bertha, you need to show a little compassion type, or, oh, you're a bad person, you're a play toy. That's, we're going to get away from that and a little bit, and change the angles a little bit, but it's still, you could still say it is going to be another in the paranormal romance theater, just not, the typical romance. And now moving on to the major announcement. For everybody who knows me, knows I'm not a artistically gifted person. I have said before, my stick figures look like Picassos. If you could even identify them as a stick figure, that's how bad they are. But now technology's gotten to a point where I get a chance to work around because it's you can use models, and now they're digital. So, but it's still slow going, especially if you don't have that skill. You're not an artistically inclined person like me. But I did get the cover for My Time of the Elves done, and this is the big cover reveal. Inbel standing there in the foreground reminiscing. And it has been a long time coming, and I'm also happy to announce that My Time Among the Elves will be available 11 October. It is currently on pre-sale, so go ahead and order a copy now. It will be available, though, come October. And getting it out is a huge relief. I did not have much success in trying to query and get it published traditionally, just because it is not your typical fantasy story. It is not the heroic journey. It is not, oh, let's go kill the dragon type thing. It is more a case of, it is about one of a major character within the world of Olith, who is in that Inbel, his teachings as a philosopher, as a sage, are out there in left field. They are radical. But it impacts so many people that there is an organization founded in his honor, the Sage Elrub, and they hold him in high esteem, and that's why the leader of the Sage Elrub is referred to as the Inbel, that is his successor. Now, Inbel himself is a little bit of an amalgamation of George Washington Carver and the Greek philosophers, but it's, he's an escaped slave who thinks he found peace only to be betrayed and, in essence, sentenced to death. So he does the rational thing and beats feet. Tries to make his escape only to be captured by the elves of Timorel, and they shelter him. They give him amnesty because even though they're leery about him being there, it's because they understand what his fate is if they don't. So, you get an insight of what his life was like, how he's trying to go from human society to elven society, and the learnings, and find out, that they are not, and as a reflection also on humanity, it's not all cut and dry in that. So, but he does make friends, and when he is forced to leave, they do everything they can to try to make sure he gets to a safe harbor, which happens to be the country, or the Empire and the second coming of the Empire of Elgan, or Elrub, excuse me, in the city of Ilgan. So, they do help, and it's his reflections. It's written from his standpoint, and I can't recall in my readings of fantasy anytime that one has been written first person, which is what this is. It is first person, and his views, how he interprets things. There is some editorial comments by one of his disciples, one of his students, who is trying to clarify things and make sense of some of things, because unfortunately Inbel died while writing his memoirs, so they're incomplete. But it's to give you some insight into the world of Olith. So, and it is the second book in that series, related and not related at the same time to the first book, Tales of the Seeress, in terms of, it's the same world. Some of the same groups of people are mentioned. However, that's about the extent of it. It's staying with the same world, just for author's convenience there. So that is the big announcement. It is, like I said, available for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So be sure to, and I will drop links to that in the description. Also, if you're interested, you can subscribe to my newsletter on Ko-fi and Substack, and also my personal blog. And that's pretty much it for now. Everyone, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. You can find more of my books on Amazon.com. Also, you can find more of my stories and poems at patricssmithauthor.wordpress.com. The links are in the description. Thank you.